This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
New tonight, we are hearing from close friends of an Illinois woman who was shot to death over the weekend. Right now, her boyfriend is behind bars facing first-degree murder charges. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Police say 24-year-old Alexis Mackey was killed Saturday by her boyfriend, 25-year-old Emmett Metzger. 5 on your side's Diamond Palmer explains how her friends and former teachers are reacting to the tragedy. Diamond?
Well, Mike and Kelly, I'm told by Alexis's best friend that she was a student at Kaskaskia College. She was also a bartender at Grit and Tonic during her free time. And while in high school, Alexis participated in Lifesavers, a peer support suicide and crisis prevention program designed to help teenagers cope with challenges. Alexis's best friend Joseph Link says Alexis had broken up with her boyfriend on Halloween weekend. He tells me she was lured back to her apartment on November 4th so her boyfriend could, quote, say goodbye to their animals they took care of together. Link says he talked to Alexis the day of her death, and she told him it was a rough day and that she'd call him later to explain. Link says that phone call was never made. He wants people to remember Alexis for her light that she brought to others.
She was the funniest one in our group, and you would never expect it because she was pretty quiet. But when you were her friend, I mean, everyone knew she was so funny. She was so openly humorous and just a charmer.
In Illinois, one suspect can be charged with multiple counts of murder for the same crime. In this case, Emmett Metzger is charged 4 times. Count 1 and 2 are first-degree murder charges with firearm enhancements. Count 3 and 4 are first-degree murder charges based on the intent to kill or do great bodily harm, and knowing such an act created a probability of death.
3 construction workers are injured after a driver hit them with a car. It happened late last night on Newhalls Ferry Road in Ferguson. The driver went through a closed construction zone, hitting the workers. 2 have serious injuries. 1 has moderate injuries. The driver was arrested and faces DUI charges.
Tonight, police are trying to identify a man whose body was found badly burned in South St. Louis.
They're now investigating this as a homicide. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay has more on the investigation and how the community is reacting.
Around 3 a.m. Tuesday morning, police were called to this area, the 3200 block of Oregon Avenue.
Once they arrived to this alleyway in the Benton Park West neighborhood, they found a burned man's body. Responding officers had to put out several small fires at the scene. St. Louis police called the fire department as well as the bomb and arson unit to the area. They quickly determined that this was an intentional act, which is why they're investigating it as a homicide. The crime happened less than a block from Michelle Edelman's business. She was shocked to hear about it because in all the years they've been on this street, Edelman says this is the best it's ever been.
20 years ago, things were not so good, and people were abandoning these areas. But in the last 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years, there's been a lot of rehabs, a lot of activity, and people coming out this way more.
This is still an ongoing investigation, and police are asking anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers, and you can see that number on your screen now. In South St. Louis, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
And police still don't know if the victim had any other injuries and could not give us an age yet.
Now to our weather first forecast. It's another warm day in St. Louis.
It is. Let's check in with meteorologist Jim Castillo. The temperatures, how warm did it get, Jim?
Yes, 77 again today. So 2 days in a row of 77. But with the warm front going through later on tomorrow, we're going to see those numbers pop into the 80s, and likely that record high will fall. That's 82 for tomorrow, and we're going for 83. But right now at 75 degrees, east-southeast wind at 14 miles an hour. Now around the area, you get to Litchfield at 66, St. Charles 68, and then down southwest of us around Rolla at 75, and they did make it into the 80s today. So there's the warm front, and it will move through the area tonight, so the wind becomes a little bit gusty even overnight tonight. But then that wind advisory you see in the Boot Heel of Missouri, some of the wind gusts tomorrow up to 35 miles an hour there. Much more on the chance for rain. It's minuscule. All that coming up in just a bit.
People living in University City say clogged sewers have been a big issue for years. They point to them as part of the problem that led to devastating floods last July.
This week, St. Louis Metropolitan Sewer District officials are starting an extensive inspection. 5 on your side's Andy Kroll is live in U-City after speaking to them about the project.
Exactly. I'm actually standing over the River des Peres, close to where the contractors hired by the Metropolitan Sewer District are going to begin their inspection and clear up any blockages they may see in the tubes. MSD saying that with nearly 100 connection points, this is not a quick fix to prevent any future flooding. This quiet scene earlier this afternoon on the River des Peres is not always the case here in University City. Many will remember having 7 to 8 inches of rain in an hour at one point in July of 2022. Causing significant damage to homes like these along the river. A number of residents continue to say jammed logs and large branches in the sewers caused much of the backup. However, St. Louis Metropolitan Sewer District reiterated today that University City is in a FEMA-identified floodplain and excessive flooding is expected. Today, workers began clearing brush to get better access to the 6 miles of tube they are expected to work on, an inspection and removal of debris that MSD says hasn't happened to this extent since the early 2000s.
The fact of the matter is removing debris will not reduce flood risk for the people in this neighborhood, and we don't want to give anyone false hope about that. So we will be clearing the debris, but we want these people to know that you still have an extreme flood risk when you live in a floodplain, and this will not change that.
The St. Louis Metropolitan Sewer District has a board meeting on Thursday to talk about potentially relocating some of the residents in this area. They're also talking about the fact that relocation is the only sustainable solution. Voters will get the chance to potentially support or oppose that plan in April of 2024. Reporting live in University City, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
It's Election Day in Missouri, and there are several local issues on the ballot tonight. Here's a few to look out for. Voters in 3 cities are deciding on an additional 3% sales tax increase for recreational cannabis use. This would affect Arnold, St. Charles, and St. John. Those sales taxes would be stacked onto the existing state and county taxes on the products.
And there will be a decision on Manchester's 4-year campaign for expansion. If passed, Proposition A would annex a portion of unincorporated St. Louis County into the city. This would allow Manchester to grow its tax base and adopt 6,500 more residents. People living in the annexed area may see tax hikes, but Manchester's mayor says the benefits of living in the city outweigh the costs.
And in St. Louis County, voters are deciding on a property tax shift. This would move 26 to 27 million in tax dollars that would have been used to pay down debt to the Rockwood School District. The district would use the money to instead finance projects like upgrading outdated technology and improving security. Prop 3 requires a simple majority to pass.
And for more information on all these races, just text the word election to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link to our voter guide.